Okay, are we live? We're live. Okay. Okay. So, my last video, I went live on Facebook for my video a second ago, and I was trying to tell y'all some stuff, and like Facebook ended my live. It was like, your live has ended, you know. But I was like, okay. Thanks. Thanks for letting me know. So the whole live, I pretty much said everything I needed to say though, so you're not really missing anything. I'll put the links and everything, the necessary links in the comments, whatever, so y'all can see like what all I was talking about. But anyway, that live, those topics led me to another idea, which I have the best ideas when I talk to y'all. Like when I go live and just like run my mouth naturally and like intuitively, I have the best ideas. So talking to y'all like really helps me like come up with a good shit. So I want to discuss the dark feminine and it's what it has to do with being a witch, being mystical, being spooky, all the rest of it, you know, being metaphysical and shit like that, and what that means. The first thing you gotta know about the dark feminine is that it is the core of the universe. It's the center. It's the crux. It's the sepulchrum. It's the fulcrum. I don't know my words today. It's the fulcrum. I'm getting my Latin mixed up, and shame on me. I should know better. But it's the center of everything. So that being said, because it's at the center of everything, there's going to be parts of it that you don't understand because you can't control it and you can't monitor all of it. The dark feminine is the part of creation that is the spooky stuff that's a little bit scary, the stuff that's a little bit intimidating, the stuff that's exciting and a little bit scary, you know, or stuff that you see that you want to get into, but you're a little bit worried because you don't know what's going to happen. That's dark feminine. That's when you look into a deep, dark forest and you know that you kind of want to explore because you want to see what's in there. But at the same time, you're like, nah, I might die. You know, and you're stuck in between those two, stuck in between those two realities like that, and you can't decide if you want to go in there or not. That's dark feminine. You know, and the way, like, and especially for witchcraft, the way people argue about whether or not you can work with demons and if that's safe or not, that argument in itself is dark feminine, because people are going back and forth and trying to decide if something should be pursued or not. It's a gray area. I don't know, should we? I don't know, this is kind of dangerous. I don't know about that. You know, that's dark fem. So it's all those parts that are mysterious and the parts that you can't really know fully, which is why that is what witchcraft is. You do things and you don't know why the hell it works, but it does. You know, burning the bay leaves, doing the astral projection, doing Galder, doing you know, just whatever. You know, setting up an altar, using one of these. Let me see. This, like, and then when you smoke the right thing and you look into this and you get in the zone and you see shit and you see somebody you need to keep an eye on and you're watching them from afar and doing remote viewing and all the rest of it, you know, we don't know why that works. We have no idea why that works, but it does. And it just does. So, or why, you know, you might have your ancestors' grave dirt with you, and why does that work? I don't know, but it does. You know, it doesn't matter. You don't have to understand all of it. You don't have to micromanage all of it. You don't have to categorize all of it. But just the fact that you can appreciate it and just say, you know what, yeah, I don't know why this works, but it does, so I'm just going to do it and be grateful for what it does and be grateful for its power and be grateful for the outcome. And I'm satisfied with that. And dark feminine is in a position in the universe to where, you know, because she can't be micromanaged and because she can't be understood all the way and because she can't, you know, be told what to do or be categorized or put in a box, you know, you're left with being in a position where you just need to be thankful and go about your day and let it be. And that's this is what religion expects of us, you know, but religion is not feminine at all. So we've grown up with real screwed up concepts of what that is, of how the masculine and feminine are expressed in spiritual and religious things. So but the dark feminine, being witchcraft, is like the center of it all, and you draw on parts of yourself that have a lot of power that you are not aware of, and that you can always learn more about, and parts of yourself you can experiment with, and parts of your subconscious mind that want to contribute and you know, take control and do things and make things happen for you, program things for you. When you charge a sigil and you sit there and look at it until it lights up, you know, that's part of your subconscious mind at work. You know, and it's also whoever's sigil you have before you is if it's, you know, if it belongs to a certain entity, that's their support. You know, so there's a lot going on with that. That's all that mystery shit. It's dark feminine. So, and the reason there are so many people who don't like witchcraft and spooky stuff and the mystical and the magical and the metaphysical and all the rest of it, the people who can't stand that shit and speak out against it and try to crush it and blah, 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 all the fucking rest of it, those people cannot stand the feminine divine to start with, in general. But they especially can't stand the dark feminine, because that's the part that they cannot control. If I need to get rid of somebody and I need to be able to do it without getting caught, if I need somebody out of my life and I can't do it without doing something illegal, I will sit down and do a spell for it, right? And that way you don't get caught, nothing gets traced. It's just that person either decides to pick up and move away, or they disappear, or they whatever. Whatever. You know, you can't control all that. So you do the spell, you get it done, you get out, and like no one knows what happened. You know, like it's just, oh, I don't know. Haven't heard from so-and-so, I don't know what they're doing. You know, and they picked up and moved away and like got tired of it all and just disappeared in the woods or something like that, in a cabin, you know, or whatever. To do things like that and to take control like that and to change a situation to be what you need it to be, you know, just for simply survival's sake, especially, which is, you know, why most people do magic, is dark feminine. It's you sitting down and saying, okay, I need such and such to happen. And it's just got to, and that's all there is to it. And I'm just going to take control of the situation and do whatever it is I need to do and get this fucking result, period. And you sit down and you do it and you just make it happen. And that's dark feminine. You don't need to ask questions. You don't need to try to figure out how, you know, or whatever. Like there's always men in labs down, you know, like in the underground or whatever, trying to figure out how shit works. You don't need to always know how it works. You're never going to know how everything works. You'll never know all of it. So just be grateful, you know, that some shit is working the way it is, and that nature does what it does, and just leave it at that. And, you know, figure something, go do something. You know what I mean? Like, you know, no offense, but I mean, scientists are good and everything, but trying to like micromanage and categorize shit is not the way to go. You can do it with some stuff, but not with everything. So people who cannot micromanage and categorize and brutally control witchcraft and the dark feminine, hate the feminine, because it's not meant to be controlled. The feminine is creative mode. The feminine is, you know, the universe saying, you know, anything's possible here. Anything can be accomplished here. We're going to be in creative mode. We're just going to let things happen, and we're going to let creation do what it wants. Let it do its cycles. Let it make this. That's why the earth does floods and shit like that. The earth would be like, all right, you know, fuck all of y'all, and just bulldoze towns. You know, it's sad and it's terrible. But people are tearing the earth apart, you know, piece by piece. Like, we are raping it. And until we get our shit together and learn that we can't keep doing that, we're going to keep getting wiped out with awful shit like that. So it's just, you know, shit happens. But the earth, being a feminine in and of itself, is going to say, well, you need to quit doing this shit you're doing because this is ridiculous. I won't stand for it. And it's like, it wipes out, you know, whole villages or whatever. And it just happens. And it can happen anywhere. That's why so much shit is screwed up right now. Weather's screwed up. You know, animals are dying off, or like moving around in weird places, or doing things they shouldn't be doing. There's floods where there shouldn't be. You know, whatever. The weather's not doing right. It's getting too hot, etc., etc. All the rest of it. That stuff, you know, is for the most part the Earth's saying, you know, enough is enough, and you are trying to go against. I'm doing something, and I'm doing something important, and I'm doing something that doesn't concern you, like have cycles in nature. That doesn't concern us. And the earth says, I'm doing shit, and it's my business, not yours, and you're sitting here fucking with it, and I'm going to wipe you out because you're pissing me off. And she'll do it. The fires, the floods, the torrential rain, the mudslides, earthquakes, you know, animals coming up to the back door, you know, like all that shit. You can only micromanage. You can only do the masculine shit and micromanage for so long. And then finally the earth is going to say, all right, fuck you, die. And she'll just send a fucking hurricane or a flood and just wipe out a bunch of people, just to shut everybody up for a second. And then we can't learn because we're too fucking stupid. So we'll say, oh, that's so terrible. Oh, well, I guess we'll just rebuild, And it's like, and then a year or two or three or later, it's all over again. And we just do this bullshit cycle with the divine feminine about, oh, well, I'm just trying to live and I'm just trying to micromanage you. And divine feminine says, nah, we're done. We're done. You can't do it. You can't even lead yourself. How the fuck are you supposed to lead anything else? And that is why the masculine doing the micromanaging and the cramming into boxes and cramming into, departments and sections and categories and shit like that and labels, that's not gonna cut it. It doesn't cut it. It doesn't cut it. There's room for that in like other things, but not nature. So people who want to control that shit are doing it, just for the sake of doing it, and it doesn't get us. It doesn't get anybody anywhere. It really doesn't. The divine feminine is not meant to be controlled. She's not meant to be crammed into a box. She's not meant to be like a cat where she sits down and does the loaf thing in this little tiny bread pan, with the stuff overflowing. You're not supposed to do that. The cat can, or whatever, but really you can't apply that in a large scale, to the earth or nature or women or witchcraft or anything like that. You can't apply it. So witchcraft being what it is, being mysterious and being misunderstood and all the rest of it, is just something that is hated by a lot of people who want to micromanage and want to control some shit that they don't understand. And that's why they get so angry. That's why, all these big systems, all these big religious systems, over the eons have said, oh, well, you can't do that. That's sinful. You know what? The biggest sins I've ever committed were the sins I committed against myself. Were the sins that I committed against myself, where I hurt myself. I did more damage to myself than I could ever do to other people. And I have. I have hurt myself more than I could ever do other people. And so a big giant masculine system standing up and, swinging its dick in my face talking about, well, you can't do that, goddammit, that's a fucking sin. No one cares. I don't care. You could never be as hurt by me as I've been hurt by myself on my own, that I've done to where I've betrayed myself. You could never be as betrayed by me as I have been by myself. So, get out of my face. Get out. I don't care. I don't feel bad. I have to say what it is. I don't sugarcoat shit for y'all. This isn't a joke or a game or me just pulling shit out of my ass. This is shit that I've gone through my whole life. And I've watched plenty of other people go through. Plenty of other people. So many women especially. And some dudes. Like maybe 1 out of 100,000. But there's some who, tap into that dark divine feminine power and realize what it is, and realize its power, and realize its beauty, realize its grace, realize its mystery and its potency and what it can do. And they just say, wow, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to respect this, and I'm going to try to partake in it and just see what I can do for myself and how I can improve my life. And I'm just going to be grateful for it. I'm going to be grateful for whatever happens. Grateful to your ancestors, grateful to your entities, whatever, whoever it is. If it was nobody and you want to just give yourself credit and say that you did it on your own, fine, do that. There's people that do that. There's people who don't work with any entities or whatever. They just do shit on their own, and they just draw on their own power. I mean, you got to recharge it, at some point eventually. But I'm just saying, if you don't answer to a deity or whatever, you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? There's no law about that, but that system is trying so hard to control something because it can't understand it. And the thing about the masculine is that it wants to control what it can't understand because it's scared of what it can do. It's scared of that power. That's why women are getting killed so much, more so here lately than usual. But if they figure, well, if I can't just control you, I'll just do away with you. If I can't control you, I'll destroy you. And you see that when women are hounded for their phone number and they say, no, I just want to go to the goddamn store and get some fucking groceries and go home and feed my children. No. And then before you know it, you're seeing stars because you're getting hit in the face with a brick. So, because you said no, because you didn't give your fucking digit. You know what? Next time, just give them a fake number. If that ever happens, give them a fake number, or just pull out a gun, please. Because I remember the last time I left the house without something. I remember the last time because I made a video about that. You can go on my YouTube and check it out. It's called "Why I Never Leave the House Without a Gun." Ed Bishop of Talladega is the answer. If you need the link for that, if that was too much of a long title, which it is, just let me know and I'll send you the link for it. It might be under the playlist Just Me. It might be on that playlist. But anyway, I'm telling you, I don't agree with women not being able to protect themselves, and I don't agree with women thinking that they shouldn't. You know, women think, oh no, guns, that's too extreme. No, you know what's extreme is that he's hounding you and following you, and is about to find out where you live because he's going to follow you home, all because you don't want to be bothered. Because you don't want to be bothered, he's going to find out where you live because he's going to follow you. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? So it's just, you have to choose. When it comes to protecting yourself, you have to, one day you're going to have to choose if it's going to be him or you. You're going to have to choose. So you know, that's why I take it seriously with promoting, you know, women's safety and self-defense and stuff like that. Like, you know, I'm no expert in all those things. I don't have any, you know, it's not like I was a trainer or anything, but I'm just saying, I highly suggest that you do something like that to protect yourselves, and have something on you, something that will stop them. You know, because they'll brag about rape whistles and mace and stuff like that. Well, that's not gonna stop me. I mean, no, but a fucking pistol in your face would. You know, it's just like sometimes you just have to do it because they won't listen. So, you know, it's all they can do to control the divine feminine, because they see its power and they're like, well, I'm gonna fucking choke this one way or another, and you're gonna do as I want and as I say, because I'm gonna own this. Ownership, ownership, ownership. And that's why the church and the not just the church, but, you know, monotheistic systems especially hound people who do magic, and hound and terrorize and harass people of the centuries who were herbalists or midwives or you know, folk practitioners, cunning women, all the rest of it, because God forbid, you know, the woman is doing something that a man can't control. We can't have that, you know, especially if she's doing it to where she can do spell work and have income and have money, you know, without a man telling her either what to do with it, or, you know, who her share is going to go to, you know, when after he dies and shit like that. You know, if she owns, that's why so many old women a long time ago were accused of witchcraft when they didn't have a husband at home. They outlived everybody. You know, they probably just ate better than everyone else. But and had a routine. A routine will save you too. But old women who like didn't, you know, weren't fucking bothering anybody, just like sitting there tending to their garden and churning their fucking butter and whatever else, would just be like, you know, paraded through the streets in chains, talking about, oh, this is a witch, we gotta fucking get rid of her. No, you want her property because she inherited some shit and she outlived everybody, and everybody's waiting on that tax money they can get out of that fucking property. That's why you're killing her. Nobody could stand to wait, you know, and, oh, well, you don't have a husband? Did you do a spell to kill him? Blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, you know, if you go back and read the stories and read the things that people said and start putting it together, it makes a lot of sense. So they've been trying to control us with all ways, but especially that way, for a long time, and trying to snuff out that primordial power, which isn't going to be snuffed out, sorry. But my point is, if you can let yourself see your dark feminine on the inside and let yourself see the potency in that and what that can do for you, and not just like to go run into your room, light a candle and do a spell or whatever. No, it's not just that. It's the way you carry yourself. It's the way you look into people's eyes. If you want to join the Dark Feminine membership and learn more about this, we go over this kind of shit. I do a new video every week. We make this shit happen. Like, it's hardcore, it's deep stuff, it's very transformational, and you learn a lot. So if that's something you want to look into and just have something constant that you can do, you know, with no commitment and just a safe space to just sit back and learn and relax and soak it in and just transform, the membership is where it's at. The membership is the way to go. I would love to have you. I had closed them for a while because like I was getting overwhelmed with stuff, but I have recently rearranged my schedule, and I've you know, arranged things a bit better now, and managed my time better. So I reopened the memberships for more people to join. So if that's something you want to get into, please jump on, get on board, because you will be glad you did. It's just a great space. I feel better about the memberships than I have about anything, you know, like that in a long time. So it's a good space to be in. It really is. But anyway, that's the Dark Feminine membership. So once you let yourself see what you can do, and the influence you can have, and the power that you have, and like I say, when you walk into a room and you're talking to somebody, especially if it's someone you need to influence, or someone you need to remember who you are or whatever, in case you might need them later for something, there's a certain way that you can look into their eyes. There's a certain way that you can talk. There's a certain way that you can stand and carry yourself. There's a certain way to communicate what you want or what you need from somebody. There's ways to do all of that. And Dark Feminine will show you the way and show you how to do that. And that's how you can just take control of your life. Just take control of your life and have things work out for you. And people who are against that and don't want you having that kind of control in your life, because there's people who would rather see you hand your power over to somebody else. They'd rather you hand it over to somebody, you know, quote unquote, greater than you, somebody who's quote unquote bigger than you, bigger and better, and somebody else who needs to lead the way and control your life and make sure you're doing the right thing, make sure you're going in the right direction, blah, blah, the rest of it. And that's bullshit. You need to be in control of your life, because you're responsible for it. You make your own choices every day as to what you're going to do. Every day. So why the hell would you hand over your power to somebody else? It makes no sense. So just consider, you know, there's just something to think about when it comes to, you know, magic and the Dark Feminine. Dark Feminine especially does not hand her power over. She does whatever she can to and make sure she's at the center of her life, of her own life, you know, and for a lot of women, that's like a novel idea, because we're so used to being told that we have to live for everybody else and wear a lot of hats and be what everybody else needs and blah, 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 all this other shit. And that's bullshit. You know, that doesn't make any sense. You need to be taking care of you first, so that you can do things for the people who appreciate you and who deserve your help. Not everybody, but the ones who appreciate you and deserve you, they need your help, and they ought to have your help. And you need to be, you know, pouring from a full cup or whatever when you do that. Taking care of yourself first and looking out for yourself first, making sure you have money, making sure you have food, making sure you have rest, you know, making sure you have information so that you can be a step ahead, a step or two or three ahead of somebody else, so that you can be successful and thrive and take care of yourself, and then in turn take care of your children or whoever's relying on you. That's important. And that's a damn near the only way to do it. That's the only way to do it. What else are you going to do? Hand your power off to somebody else and just like hope for the best? Oh yeah, they'll take care of it. You don't know that. You know, I'm not trying to like crush your trust or whatever in other people, but I'm just telling you, you don't know what somebody's going to do. So it helps in Dark Feminine and in Witchcraft to know that you can sit down, do it yourself, make the move on your own, invest in yourself, keep your power, and do it quietly, and get what you need. Get some money, get somebody to get you a ride, get somebody to hire you, get somebody to tell you something you've got to know in order for your own protection or whatever it is. Whatever it is. This is your survival. And women have been conditioned for eons now to just, you know, bend over backwards for everybody else and just hope for the best. And that system clearly has not done us any fucking favors. So that's why you're seeing such a rise in women, especially leaving big systems like, you know, monotheism and religion and the workplace and things like that are masculine, where they're going to micromanage you, you know, and just sink their teeth in, and you better be grateful for whatever you get. You know, that's a horseshit way to live. That makes no fucking sense. That makes no sense. So for women to say, you know what, I'm just not going to do this anymore, and for them to turn their backs on that system, on that micromanaging system, and say, well, whatever, I just won't cooperate with you, I'll just pretend you're not there. And then they just start doing their own shit. They're going to business for themselves. You know, they make stuff, they sell it, they make their own money. They start giving their children more attention, making more time for their children. They start taking better care of themselves, getting rest, doing energy work for themselves, replenishing themselves, working on themselves, mindset, emotional maturity, you know, self-help books, psychology book, whatever. You know, all those things where you just turn everything inward. That is witchcraft. That is dark feminine. Well, I'm just going to turn my power inward and start thinking about me for once in my fucking life, and we'll just see where it takes me. And then before you know it, you know, you got, you know, some income of like $5,000-6,000 a month doing your own thing, running your own business or whatever. You took control of your own money. You know, you got more time with your children. Their grades are getting better. They're happier. You know, they're eating better, whatever it is, because you're putting more time and effort into the things that matter, that are immediate to you and are, you know, in direct relation to you. And your children, your offspring, your legacy is, you know, should be, you know, towards the top of your list. So that, you know, and that won't fail you. That is an investment that will be worth it. Because if you respect your children and love them and teach them right and support them, they're always going to be there for you. And it's easy to do that because they're easy to love. And that's just my humble opinion, but it's worked for me. I take care of my son. I don't ignore him. I don't ever make him think he's not important or any of that shit. I've invested a lot in making sure that he knows how important he is, and I have gotten a lot in return for that. I've gotten innumerable gifts in return for that. So that is an investment that matters. But anyway, you know, dark feminine and witchcraft, and the thing about doing witchcraft is that your fears subside completely. If there's things in witchcraft that you're not afraid to do, like mirror work or trance work or astral projection or things like that, if that stuff doesn't scare you and you can do things like that, or work with entities you're not, you know, necessarily all that familiar with, or entities that have been labeled as evil, etc. I mean, you can, if you're not afraid and you can dive into shit like that, you can explore anything you want, because you're getting into territory that most people are afraid of, but you're not. And you know deep down that these other territories that you're getting into that most people are afraid of are just like aspects of yourself that at the same time, they're like double as aspects of yourself that you can get into and explore and figure out and learn about and understand and find some power in as well. You've got all kinds of hidden power in here that you just haven't tapped into yet because you haven't been shown how. It's never been explained to you. You've never had a chance to be exposed to it. You know, there are some families who are hereditary witches, and a lot of them will like be in denial of that and be like, no, you know, so and so could do blah blah blah, but you know, we don't really do that. That's not kosher. We're not doing that. So you're going to hear the stories, but that's it. We don't do it. And you know, a lot of times, you know, especially in the South here, people call it the laying on of hands, and it's Reiki. But sometimes it's promoted, sometimes it's not, and it depends on it how they can twist it. So if they can say, oh well, you know, this is God's power, blah blah blah, then it's okay. But if you say Reiki, or if you say source energy or something like that, they're gonna say, oh, you know, they're not gonna like that because it doesn't fit into their thing. But it doesn't matter because it's the same damn power. We have different viewpoints on on the fine details, but it is, source is one thing. You know, in my humble opinion, it's one thing. So, you know, people will twist stories and try to twist things, try to twist things, you know, to make it what they want, because that's part of the micromanaging. And when it comes to witchcraft and exploring things and exploring your powers and exploring the possibilities and exploring the dark parts of yourself, you can't micromanage and categorize that shit. You can't slap labels on all that stuff and deem it worthy or not. You know, that's not how this works. You're playing with the universe here, and that's way beyond, that's way out of the control of any system. You know, a workplace, religion, whatever. Those systems can't control shit like that. And you have to decide if you're going to go with rigid, or if you're going to go with anything can happen and you can learn. And you have to, in dark feminine and in witchcraft in general, you have to learn how to really drop your fears and drop some boundaries if you want to go deep and understand things and have wisdom and see things, you know, as they really are, and have answers and understand yourself and understand life and all that kind of shit. So those are just some thoughts, just some things to think about. I need to start doing some calls, so I gotta go. But anyway, I thought I would put this video out just to let y'all know, what I've been thinking about. And this type of stuff is also going to be in my next upcoming course, which is going to be about how to heal from the ex-narcissist for the empath. So the title is going to be something like that. I haven't decided exactly what the title is going to be because it's like a mouthful, so we're going to see. But that's going to be the next course that I'm going to be working on in the next couple weeks here. So that's it for now. I just figured I would tell y'all what was up and give you some ideas, give you something to think about. And that's it for now, and I'll see you later. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.